Apapeshu svabhuteshu balena buddhina papam kritam tad bhagavan sarvatma arhati. You find it?
Yeah.
Apapeshu svabhuteshu balena buddhina papam kritam tad bhagavan sarvatma apapeshu unto one who is completely free from all sins. Svabhuteshu unto one who is subordinate and deserves to be protected. Balena by a child. Apakva who is immature. Buddhina by intelligence. Papam sinful acts. Kritam has been done. Tat Bhagavan therefore the personality of Godhead. Sarva Atma who is all pervading. Shantum just to pardon. Arhati deserve. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Vijaya. Then the Rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of God to pardon his immature boy, who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. Purport. Everyone is responsible for his own action, either pious or sinful. Rishi Shamika could foresee that his son had committed a great sin by cursing Mars Brigid, who deserved to be protected by the Brahmanas, for he was a pious ruler and completely free from all sins because of his being a first-class devotee of the Lord. When an offense is done unto the great devotee of the Lord, it is very difficult to overcome the reaction. The Brahmanas, being at the head of the social order, are meant to give protection to their subordinates and not to curse them. There are occasions when a Brahmana may furiously curse a subordinate Kshatriya or Vaishya, etc. But in the case of, can anybody think of one? There are occasions when a Brahmana may furiously curse a subordinate Kshatriya or Vaishya. King Vena.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were so furious that they killed him just by the curses. Die. It was so powerful. And Durvasa. Of course, that was totally inappropriate. And he got a reaction. But in the case of Mars Cricket, there were no grounds, as already explained. The foolish boy had done it out of sheer vanity of being a Brahmana's son, and thus he became liable to be punished by the law of God. The Lord never forgives a person who condemns his pure devotee. Therefore, by cursing a king, the foolish Shringi had committed not only a sinful, not only sin, but also the greatest offense. There's one instance where Lord Chaitanya was cursed. by a Brahmana. He wanted to go to they were having these kirtans at Srivas Thakur's house. And he wanted to get in. He wasn't allowed in. There was only elites. In the beginning, only elites were able to. So he cursed Lechan. I curse you that you'll never have any material enjoyment. Lord Chaitanya said, why? Thanks a lot. Would that be nice? It's funny. Therefore, the Rishi could foresee that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could save this boy from his sinful act. He therefore directly prayed for pardon from the Supreme Lord, who alone can undo a thing which is impossible to change. The appeal was made in the name of a foolish boy who had developed no intelligence at all. Also, there's a pastime where one rishi, he was caught amongst other thieves, and they were going to punish him, and he went to Yamars, and actually even got pierced, I think, and he went to Yamars and why was I tortured in this way? He said, because you pierced an ant or something, or a bug or something like that. And he said, from now on, up to a certain age, no one gets a reaction. I forgot the exact. Remember that?
Yeah.
Up to a certain age.
14 years.
Something like that. A question may be raised herein that since it was the desire of the Lord that Parikshit Maharaj be put into that awkward position so that he might be delivered from material existence, then why was a Brahmana son made responsible for this offensive act? The answer is that the offensive act was performed by a child only so that he could be excused very easily, and thus the prayer of the father was accepted. So he didn't get a reaction. I was wondering about that. He cursed Parikshit Maharaj, such a great personality, but he was forgiven. But if the question is raised, why the Brahmana community as a whole was made responsible for allowing Kali into the world affairs, the answer is given in the Varaha Purana, that the demons who acted inimically toward the personality of Godhead were not killed by the Lord, were to take birth in the family of Brahmanas to take advantage of the age of Kali. Interesting. I'm going to read that again. But the question is raised, why the Brahmana community as a whole was made responsible for allowing Kali into the world affairs. The answer is given in the Varaha Purana that the demons who acted inimically toward the personality of God were not killed by the Lord, or were allowed to take birth in the family of Brahmanas to take advantage of the age of Kali. Isn't it said that also that in the age of Kali that Brahmanas are like demoniac or something? Is it? Is it? Huh? Just like you have in Jagannath Puri, the Brahmanas, they won't allow devotees into the temple. Yeah, it's some statement like that. The All-Merciful Lord gave them a chance to have their births in the family of pious Brahmanas so that they could progress towards salvation. But the demons, instead of utilizing the good opportunity, misused the Brahminical culture due to being puffed up by vanity and becoming Brahmins. See, there it is. But the demons, instead of utilizing the good opportunity, misused the Brahminical culture due to being puffed up by vanity and becoming Brahmanas. The typical example is the son of Ashramika Rishi, and all the foolish sons of Brahmanas are warned hereby not to become as foolish as Shringi and to be always on guard against demoniac qualities, which they had in their previous births. The foolish boy was, of course, excused by the Lord. The foolish boy was, of course, excused by the Lord, but others who may not have a father like Samikarisi will be put into great difficulty if they misuse the advantages obtained by birth in a Brahmana family. Very interesting. Om Jnana Tamanandasya Gnanandana Salakya Chakshum Nitamjina Tasmai Shri Guru Ukum Kotavatalam Pangam Nihante Gurum Nikripatalam Mande Shri Guru Vanchakalpa Tubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanevya Vaishnavevya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this interesting part of the Bhagavatam is continuing here. Parikshit Maharaj here, it's mentioned that he was completely free of all sins. And also, of course, he was a great devotee. And this actually qualifies one to be free of all sins, to be a great devotee, which is also very, very rare. Kecha kevalya bhaktiya vasudeva praya aghamdit satikasya diharmi bhuvaskara. It's stated in the Bhagavatam, only a rare person who is completely free of sin can uproot all desires for sinful activities. He can do this simply by engaging in devotional service. Just as when the sun rises, all the darkness and the fog is dissipated. So this is the power of devotional service, that one becomes free of sinful desire. One becomes full of a desire to serve Krishna, just like it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that, what is that? Apoyamana machalam patistam samudama bhavastantiya tadvat kamyam prasanti sasanti apnoti nikama kami. One who is free of all desire. What is it? Be free of what is it? This Poimana Machaladisa, the Mudama. That desires may come, but a devotee, because he's full of Krishna, he's not affected by material desires. And Krishna gives a nice example of there's so many rivers. Who knows the biggest river in the world?
Nile.
Huh?
It's a Nile.
The largest. I mean, that's the longest. What's the biggest? Amazon. Amazon River. It's mentioned that the Amazon River is so big that during the biggest part of the rainy season, you're on one side of the bank and you look to the other side, you can't see the other side. It's so big. And the waves coming from the Amazon, at this time they hit the waves of the ocean, the Atlantic, and you could hear the sound from miles away, just smashing together the wave. It's so big, the Amazon. And Arjuna Swami, he did an adventure down the Amazon. There's a book actually about it. He exaggerated a little bit though. So, I mean, it's actually inconceivable. So much water is going in, just from the Amazon alone, so much water is going into the ocean. the Nile, and here we got the Mississippi, and we got the Missouri River. Missouri River is the longest river in America, but the Mississippi is the biggest. So many, also Europe, there's rivers. What's the biggest river in Europe?
I don't know. Maybe Danube.
No, I think there's none. I forgot the name of it. Danube is the most famous.
It's going from Germany.
Yeah.
Through many countries. And then it ends up in Black Sea.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of rivers, but still the ocean remains steady. So similarly, when we have so many desires, but if one is Krishna conscious, then he's steady, just like the ocean is steady. Just let those material desires go. So we had to become full of Krishna. The more we're full of Krishna, then no problema, as they would say in South America. No problem. So hearing, the more we hear about Krishna, the more we become full of Krishna. And Krishna consciousness is so attractive that Vijaya Vinivartan, you get a higher taste, and then no longer attracted to material things of this world, just attracted to Krishna. And many realizations come as one continues on, just like there's a pastor of Lord Chaitanya. He was in Navadvip, he was walking along, and one devotee named Raghunath, he just saw Lord Chaitanya. Immediately he brought out his Bhagavatam, started reciting Bhagavatam. And not just reciting, but he was given realizations. And Lord Chaitanya went into ecstasy, and he fainted. Just hearing the realizations of this devotee, Raghunath, he fainted, went into ecstasy. And when he came back to, he said, "Your name is not Raghunath, your name is Bhagavatam Acharya," because he recited it so nicely, his realizations. It wasn't just reading, he was given realizations of the Bhagavatam. He said, "You should just recite Bhagavatam and give you realizations." And then he gave him the name Bhagavatam Acharya. Wouldn't that be amazing? Just to hear that Bhagavatam. But Lord Chaitanya fainted, like, wow. So, many realizations come by practicing Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada, of course, he had so many wonderful realizations. His purports in his books, he called them his devotional ecstasies, because Prabhupada was in ecstasy, just translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So many realizations were coming from his very deep Krishna consciousness. So there's many translations of the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, but nobody was a devotee of Krishna. So they were just given their own interpretation. And one person said, "Well, but also isn't yours is also an interpretation?" Prabhupada said, "No, mine is explanation." It's the difference. Explanation and interpretation. He gave the example of Dr. Radhakrishna, who said it's not unto Krishna that we surrender, but to the unborn within Krishna, as though there's a difference between the within and without. So much speculation. Therefore, Prabhupada called the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And all the other ones are Bhagavad Gita as it isn't. Because there's no realization. Prabhupada had so much realization. Actually, the first Bhagavad Gita, somehow he lost it. It was his wife sold it for tea biscuits or something. Remember that? Yeah, and then actually the one that we have, that he did that in America. Because he said there was one lady, she said, can you give me a author or translator of the Bhagavad Gita? And Prabhupada said, no, there's no. So then he started, that's what he did, is Bhagavad Gita. Because people are just given their own speculation, their idea of the teachings of Krishna. But Prabhupada, he told Shrutakirti that Krishna, he's dictating to him the purports. So when you have the two, just like in one purport, Prabhupada says that Krishna, he's compared to a diamond, and the pure devotee is compared to gold. And if you have the combination of the two, it's very beautiful. They complement each other. So when we're distributing books, we're not distributing paper and ink, we're distributing gold and diamonds. Priceless wisdom. It's like when I distribute books, I tell them, you can't put a price on wisdom. Yeah, that's right. And then I give a price. About. So, yeah, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavat Purana, the spotless Purana, and given to us by the spotless devotee. There's the person Bhagavat, and there's the book Bhagavat. So Prabhupada is the person Bhagavat, and then of course we have the book Bhagavat, and he also was free of all sin. He actually said that there was never a time when I committed any sin, and there was never a time when I ever forgot Krishna. So this is Srila Prabhupada. So it says, Apapeshu, one who is completely free of sins. Sriviteshu, unto one who is subordinate and deserves to be protected. So the person who they're speaking of is Prahlad Maharaj. He should have been protected instead of cursed, because he's a great devotee. Although he's subordinate, he's a kshatriya, he's lower than the brahmanas according to Varnashram, but actually the devotee is greater. He's greater than this Varnashram, because he's transcendental. And it says Apakva, who was immature. So this Shringi, he was immature. He's misusing his Brahminical prowess by cursing such a person who deserves to be protected. Bhagavan, therefore the personality of Godhead. Bhagavan means the person who has 6 opulences: beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation, and knowledge. So Krishna, he's the most beautiful. Like yesterday I was distributing books, and this homeless person came by riding on his bike, dirty and disheveled, and he said, so what are you teaching here? I said, I'm teaching Krishna, Hare Krishna. He said, oh yeah, I'm Krishna, and you're Krishna too. I said, well, I think Krishna's a bit more attractive than you. Yeah. I didn't say anything to him. But Krishna's the most attractive. He's all attractive. So beautiful that the The gopis, when Krishna he went to Mathura, they thought these eyes they're useless. We can't see Krishna anymore. What's the use of these eyes? Imagine that. What? And they even said, now we're blind. We can't see Krishna. It's like they were blind. It's amazing. What is the use of these eyes? Because Krishna is so beautiful, can't see Krishna. And they thought, it's described that they thought that Lord Brahma, he's a dunce. You know the word dunce? Dunce. Stupid. Made these eyes that blink. You know, in the heavenly planets, eyes don't blink. Also in the spiritual world, eyes don't blink. For some reason, we have eyes that blink. I don't know. To keep them functioning, I don't know. But Krishna is so attractive, so beautiful. And even the demons, sometimes demons, when they have to fight with Krishna, they would say, oh, he's pretty attractive. He's pretty attractive. But then they'd go on and continue fighting with him. Very beautiful. The beauty, and so if someone is very beautiful, then like here in this world, like there's Mr. Universe, because they don't know how beautiful people are in other planets, but they call it Mr. Universe here, as though we're the only people in the universe. They think like that, isn't it? They think there's no life. I was talking to one atheist. The guy was really nonsense. So he said, well, you think there's only life on this planet? I said, no, there's life on every planet. He said, where do you get that? So he's complaining first that we think there's only life on this planet, you know, because people think that. I said, no, there's life on every planet. He said, where do you get that from? Now he complained about that too. I said, no, it's in Shastra. There's life on every planet. We're very conceited to think that there's only life on our planet. And the intelligence is also much higher here. It's like here, we're not very bright. You know? Wherever we go, we make a mess. You know? It's like Southern California. Probably used to be a very beautiful place. There are parts of it still are, but now we're just making a big mess. All the smog and the dirt. What to speak of New York City? Yeah. Were you in New York City when they had when the devotees were there?
Yeah.
Crystal Light?
Yeah.
Yeah. So dirty, huh? It's terrible. Stinks. It's terrible. Been to New York City yet?
No.
Yeah. You been?
Yeah. It's a smell of urine. It's
Everywhere. And stool. It stinks. The city stinks, like really bad. And also Los Angeles. Like I would go and travel in Sankirtan quite often. So when you get about 2 hours from Los Angeles, you start smelling it. Yeah. You start smelling the city. But once you get in there, you get kind of used to it, you know, you adjust. But when you leave it and then you go back in, ew, it stinks. And what's amazing is we have a lot of people there, concentrated people there, concentrated people in New York and other places. But the whole planet, you know, just like we have this, we've destroyed the ocean. It's like they have, believe it or not, they have these trash islands that are floating around like in the Pacific. It's as big as I don't know, or half the size of Texas, just floating around because trash attracts trash. It's an island of trash floating around. Can you imagine? And it's just, and we're polluting the oceans and the air. And all this has happened actually pretty much within the past 100 years. Before that, it wasn't so bad. For some reason, it's just the age of technology. Now we have all this garbage.
plastic.
Yeah, plastic. It's so much garbage. What to do with it? It's like there was this girl. It was from, I think, from Sweden. And she started complaining, and she turned into a big movement. Anybody know her name? What was it?
Yeah, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. And she got all these like thousands and thousands of kids backing her up. Like, you guys are ruining the the planet, and he started complaining, we're going to be left with it. You guys are ruining it, and we're going to be left with it. I don't know if is it still going or anything. I haven't heard much about it, but there was some period where she was pretty popular. She had a big following because, we're ruining the planet in such a short time. So Krishna, he's the most beautiful person. Beauty, wealth. Krishna, he's the wealthiest. Some people, it's like Steve Jobs. He left his body a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Billionaire, but how much could he take with him? Not a dime, not a penny. So he thought it was his, but whose was it? No. Everything belongs to Krishna. We think that we own this or we own that. We're borrowing things. Isavashamedang sarvam yatkincha jagatyanti. Chena chagjena bunjita magradha. Everything. That means our computers, our cars, everything, our sweaters, everything that we own, the very valuable things we own is brahmacharis. We don't have anything very valuable, fortunately. Everything that exists is owned and controlled by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, we should only accept that which we need as a quota and not accept more, knowing well to whom everything belongs. So everything belongs to Krishna. So Krishna is pretty wealthy. Now, there's wealthy people in this world, right? Just Tesla, what's his name?
Elon
Musk. He's the richest person, multi-billionaire. He got a couple $100 billion now or something.
400 billion.
400 billion now. Jeez. Crazy. But is he actually wealthy? No. Prema dana vanabhya, the ridu jivan, dasakari vatane more, deha prema dana. It's stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that if one does not have love for Krishna, one is considered to be a daridra jivan, a poor soul. Therefore, please, my dear Lord Krishna, please bless me with devotional service, and all I want as salary is love for you. This is real. This is real wealth. This is real. This is a real salary. And you don't lose it. They have Vikramanasos. In this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect from the most dangerous type of fear. So whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, we keep that. We don't lose that. We keep that transcendental bank account. It's like Prabhupada, when he came to America, he had nothing. He had 40 rupees, but that means nothing. Even today, you can't change rupees, right? In America? Or can you?
You can.
Oh, you can change rupees now. Okay. But back then, nothing. It was worth nothing. So he came to America with nothing. Practically didn't know anybody. But he was the wealthiest person in the world. Huh.
He, as far as I remember, he did actually have some dollars.
He sold a book. He sold some books to the captain. $20.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
So the captain gave him.
Yeah. The captain gave him $20 for a set of his books. But when he arrived, that's when he got here. He waited. I guess the captain wanted to also kind of help him out because he didn't have anything. He knew he didn't have anything. So Prabhupada, he was the wealthiest. And what's interesting is he came to America with nothing, but just on preaching, because of preaching Krishna consciousness. Not only was he wealthy spiritually, he became one of the wealthiest persons in India. He said, when I left India, I had 40 rupees. Now I have 40 crores. which is a lot of money back. That's a lot of money. And there was some article in Newsweek or Times or something of people that became successful after the age of 65. And Prabhupada was one of the 10. Actually, he became successful after 70. So the number would have gone down. So he still became wealthy materially, even. Spiritually, he was so wealthy. And also materially. But at the same time, he was very frugal. He got a check from somebody, and he asked the devotee, his servant, how much it cost to go to the bank by rickshaw, and how much it would cost to send the check to the bank. I mean, we're talking about pice. One would be 8 pice, and the other would be maybe a rupee. And the one that was less, he said that, I forgot exactly which one was less, but frugal, very frugal. Because he saw it all as Krishna's money. He didn't want to waste anything. So beauty, wealth. So if someone is very wealthy, just like if Bose, what's his name?
Musk.
Huh?
Musk.
Musk. If you were to come in here to come in, the wealthiest person in the world is here, even though we're not so attractive, but still, the wealthiest person in the world would be thinking, "Oh, they got to preach to me. We need some money for this project here. Let's be real nice to him." So, beauty, wealth, strength. Krishna's the strongest. He's known as Satya Sankalpa, that whatever he wants, it happens. That's powerful. And just like these planets, they're floating all around the universe by the will of Krishna. Prabhupada says, just like it's like just floating around by the will, by the strength of Krishna. Just like this planet, it's heavy. I mean, it must weigh like millions of tons. Isn't it? It's so heavy, but it's just floating around. What do you speak of the sun? I was just thinking about this. The sun is so big, and it's just up there. You're kind of like floating around. But they say it's also going very fast. Anybody remember how Prabhupada said one time how fast it's going? It's going very fast. And other planets, also very big planets, they're just floating around by the will of Krishna. So he's very, very powerful, very strong. So beauty, wealth, strength, fame. People are attracted to famous people. But no one is more famous than God. Everybody's heard of God. Of course, they don't know who he is. But God is very, very famous. Some people don't appreciate the existence of God. Just like there's this Nietzsche. Nietzsche, he said, when I hear that God dances, I'll believe in God. He never got to hear about Krishna. The best dancer. Not only is a dancer, he's the best. Vrindavana Natabara. He's the best dancer of Vrindavan. Imagine seeing Krishna dance. Be ecstatic. So, there was one time Nietzsche put God is dead on the, in Europe they have the trains go through these tunnels and they have people do graffiti. So he put, God is dead, Nietzsche. And then after Nietzsche died, Nietzsche is dead, God. So you can't kill God. They want to. When Prabhupada went to New York City, there was a newspaper that appreciated Prabhupada very much. It was back in '66. And he said, a Swami has come to New York City, and he's come to let everyone know that God is not dead, he's alive and well. Prabhupada appreciated that. So Prabhupada came and gave the real teachings of Krishna, and people appreciate it. So beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation. So Krishna, he's also very renounced. What's an example of Krishna's renunciation? What's an example of
Francis?
Huh?
Francis. Saint Francis.
Oh, Saint Francis. Well, that's an example of a devotee that was renounced, but Krishna, an example of Krishna's renunciation was the gopis. He played the flute, and the gopis went out to be with Krishna in the dead of night. Then they left their parents and their children and left everybody. And then they go out there, and Krishna's there, and he says, well, ladies, what are you doing out here? It's dark out here. It's dangerous. Wild animals. Go home. Go home. Here they are, the most beautiful women in all the creation, and a lot of them. Gopi Pradhan done it. He said that he danced with 3 billion. There's 3 billion gopis. Gopi Pradhan done it. He's the one that translated the Srimad Bhagavatam with Sri Dandana. There was a lot of them. He said, go home. It's late out. It's dangerous. And they said, Krishna, only you can do this. Here we are, the most beautiful women, and you're telling us to go home. Here we are in the dead of night, and you're just telling us to go home. This is the epitome of renunciation. And Bhishma even said that. He said, I can't, although I'm famous as a brahmachari, I couldn't do what Krishna did. He was so transcendental, so detached, so renounced. Why? Because he was also Atmaram. Atmaram means self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything. And the devotee also becomes self-satisfied. Believe it or not, when Prabhupada was here, there was young women that tried to entice Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada, he was attractive. So many people are attracted to Prabhupada because of his purity. Also, those young, attractive women attracted to Prabhupada. And he would kind of like, send them away or something. Even one devotee, he said there was one big Maya Devi. I mean, she was just absolutely beautiful, and she was kind of attracted to Prabhupada because his purity. Prabhupada sent her to New Vrindavan. So he was, and that's that was a big problem with the Swamis coming to America. They would also attract people, and that would make them attractive because that's some what's the word? Some charisma. So that's women are attracted to this, and they would fall down. Practically, I mean, I don't know, they practically all didn't, but not Prabhupada. And he had beautiful, beautiful disciples. Just like who was that? One of the 12 original gurus. Anyway, he had this wife. She was beautiful, and when she came with her husband, Prabhupada said to him, "She's beautiful." Yes, Prabhupada, she's beautiful. But he could recognize, but he's not attractive. Like Prabhupada was in an airplane one time, and it was a steward or something. He said to the devotee, he said, "She's beautiful, isn't she?" And the devotee is a brahmachari. He's like, he didn't know how to answer. What is that? Prabhupada's testing me. He said, no, she's beautiful. Yeah. And then he said, she's so beautiful, but imagine how beautiful the person is that created that beauty. So Prabhupada always had Krishna, very attractive. Yeah. And women can be very beautiful. But that the origin of that beauty is Krishna. And imagine how attractive Krishna is. So beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation, and knowledge. Krishna was the most intelligent. It's like he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow is the advent of the Bhagavad Gita. So he spoke it. Prabhupada said in 45 minutes one time, and he said, I think he said an hour. I think one time he said a half hour. So they said different times. Anyway, just off the top of his head, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. And now it's being studied in universities all over the world, translated in so many languages. I mean, generally a book, after it's printed, it's like, maybe a few people read it, and after, if it's a really good book, all right, it might last 100 years, isn't it? But here, 5,000 years later, still, it's like when I distribute Bhagavad Gita, I said, and this is my favorite, the famous Bhagavad Gita. And so many people say, yep, that's a good one. So many people heard of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna's the most intelligent. Now, Kaving Pranam Manusasataram. Kaving means he knows everything. I mean, how much do we know? It's like I was talking to this atheist I mentioned earlier. I said, actually, I'm going to show you how you're not an atheist. He said, oh, really? All right, I'm going to show you how you're not an atheist. So I asked him, how much do you know? He said, well, I don't know much. I said, there's billions of things you don't know, right? I said, well, yeah. So one of the billions of things you don't know is whether there's a God or not. You haven't a clue. He said, all right, you're right. So I'm an agnostic. So he got a little better. But the atheist, the gross materialist, to be an atheist, that's like you're like an uttama. Yeah. You're the highest in the materialistic standard. So I brought him down. So he's not uttama, now he's a madhyama. Brought him down a notch. But actually he became better. In our estimate, he became better by being agnostic. At least now he's admitting, I don't know. And then he said, well, that's just being an agnostic, just a soft way of saying you're an atheist. But then I said, but you've admitted you don't know. Staunch atheists say, no, there's no God. Isn't it? Yeah. But now you're admitting you're not sure. So there's a few comments on this. So yeah, actually Prabhupada, he said that here we have Krishna, beauty, wealth, strength, fame, renunciation, and knowledge. 6 great opulences. You'll never find anybody. And there's the most beautiful person here, there's who else is the person here. There's the strongest person, but they don't all come together. The strongest person is not the most beautiful, that's for sure. Right? Or the wealthiest. But Krishna, he's all 6. Therefore we call him Krishna, the most attractive. Any comment or question? We started a little late. We're ending a little late. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, we have a question.
You can see that an example of Bhrigu Muni, who kind of offended Lord Vishnu by hitting him.
Yeah.
And according to Bhagavatam, later on he became a hunter, which is kind of quite a degradation.
Oh yeah.
From a position of rishi to become some forest hunter killing animals. So how is it that there was no reaction for Shringi's although he was kind of instrument of maybe time or.
Because he was a child. Because he was a child, he didn't know better. Even it's said that the brain hasn't fully developed until you're 25. You know that? Interesting. And therefore, they have restriction for people that want to drink alcohol. You got to be 21. Why do they say 21? Because the brain has developed, not fully, but somewhat. People do stupid things. It's like these kids, 14, 15, 16, they put all these tattoos on themselves. Like really stupid things on their face, isn't it? Really stupid things like that. When they get older, like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Isn't it? It's terrible. So restriction is there for people for things that are not good for them. It's like we have the four regular principles, no gambling. Gambling is very much restricted in this country. There's only a few places where you could even do it. You know, Nevada, DC, where else? Virginia Beach over there. Which state is that? I think that's also
Atlantic City,
Atlantic City.
New Jersey.
There's a few places where it's allowed, but it's very much because everybody knows it's bad. It's bad. It ruins people's lives. The people that are obsessed with gambling, they gamble away their homes, their cars, their children's college money, their savings, everything. And even Yudhisthira gambled away his brothers and his wife. Of course, this is just to get the Leela going. But gambling is like, people take their lives. In Australia, I have, there's one devotee, his brother works at one of these casinos. And a lot of these casinos, they have hotels above the casino. And so many people would commit suicide. They put bars on the windows so that people can't jump out the window anymore. They lose all their money. Jump out the window. Can you imagine that? Just get so obsessed. Just, no, the next one, I'll win it. And then nothing. So gambling, intoxication, it's restricted. Alcohol, cigarettes even, all these things that are not good for us are restricted. Gambling, intoxication, meat eating is restricted in India. Well, it used to be. Now it's all completely loose. It's horrible. And big reactions are going to come. Prabhupada said war is there because killing so many animals. And a lot of animal killing going on in Russia, and also Ukraine. Anything else?